Hi there friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Marissa and this is A to Zen Life, where we talk about the A to Z of simplifying your way to a life you love. And I'm super excited to announce today's video is episode 1 of a brand new series called Minimalism for Real that I hope will bust through some of the most common stereotypes and misunderstandings about minimalism by sharing what life looks like for us as an average minimalist family of 4 on a day-to-day basis. I've been on my simplification journey for 8 years now, but it almost feels like I'm starting all over again as a beginner minimalist because last year we moved back to the USA after 4 years of living in Europe, and after a year of house hunting, we finally found and purchased a new home in the suburbs of Chicago, where we quickly realized we have some obnoxiously loud next-door neighbors. Anywho, since we've been living in a furnished rental this entire time, that means we own almost nothing of our own. So in today's video, I want to take you along with me as I share some of my best tips for thrifting like a minimalist as I hunt for new home essentials at the thrift store in an effort to shop frugally and sustainably. And if you're interested in topics like decluttering, minimalism, and saving money, be sure and hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future Minimalism for Real episodes and videos on how to simplify your life from A to Z. I'm super excited to take you along with me today. Now let's dive into the best minimalist thrift shopping tips, starting with number 1, which is to get acquainted with your local stores. Just like snowflakes, no two thrift stores are exactly alike, so you really need to roll up your sleeves and get in there and figure out which ones work best for what you're looking for. Some are going to be better for finding furniture, others might be better for home goods, and still others are going to be the best place to look for clothes. So like I said, hit the pavement, get out there, and see which ones you like and which ones you don't. After we moved here, I've been kind of slowly scoping out the various thrift stores and charity shops, etc. in our area. There was one small one that I went to that I had high hopes for because my son had needed a white colored shirt for an event at his school. And we ended up finding it there, and my oldest son also found an outfit that he liked, but that shop was really kind of too small to return to. We were lucky to have found what we needed at that one time. So I'm kind of trying to expand my search and explore other areas, and I haven't been to this Goodwill before, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to find something good in here, some of the home essentials that we need.
The destination is on your left.
On my left? What are you talking about? It's on my right, lady. This is like the wild, wild west of carts. I cannot stand it when people just leave their carts in the middle of the parking lot to blow around in the wind and hit other people's cars. So we have arrived, and I've got to say, I'm a bit nervous about videotaping in public. That's not something that I've done a lot of. I just have a little bit of anxiety about going in here and filming this video today. And I hope that there's not a lot of people in there so I don't have to feel too self-conscious. Tip number 2 is to check for sales and discounts immediately upon entering the store. At Goodwill and a lot of other thrift stores, they will have what's called color days, where they discount certain items with a colored price tag 50% off or 30% off or whatever. So as you can see on this sign, today's color day is green, which means that all green tagged items are 50% off. So being aware of and hunting for deals on items that are tagged for the color days can really boost your savings. Tip number 3 is about fitting rooms, and even though this video is more about shopping for home essentials versus clothes, I still wanted to drop this tip in here because a lot of people take for granted when they're shopping for thrifted clothing that the thrift stores that they go to will have fitting rooms, and that's not always the case. And even when the thrift stores do have fitting rooms, you don't always want to go in them to try on your clothing because sometimes things will get taken out of your cart, which we'll talk more about in a second. But how do you then try on clothes that you want to buy at the thrift store if you don't have a fitting room or don't want to go inside of it? Well, here is my secret hack for that. A lot of times the best thing to do when you're shopping for clothing is to dress according to what you're shopping for so that it makes it easy for you to try on clothes in the aisle. So if you're shopping, for example, for pants or skirts, I would wear a dress so that I could slide the pants or skirts or shorts on underneath my dress and try them on right there in the aisle to see if they fit. Or if I'm trying to find a dress or a top or a sweater or something like that, I would wear a tank top like this where I can very easily pull over those items to try on in the aisle. And that way you don't have to rely on fitting rooms to make sure that the clothes fit before you buy them. Oh, good. They do have fitting rooms here. I've been to several thrift stores lately that don't have fitting rooms, so it's really nice to see that this place does have fitting rooms. Minimalist thrifting secret number 4 is to write a list and stick to it. And I think that this is one of the hardest, but also one of the most helpful minimalist thrifting secrets, because thrift shopping is a lot like treasure hunting and it can be super fun. Oh my goodness. Is that seriously an easy bake oven? Say it with me. I will not fall victim to nostalgia. I will not fall victim to nostalgia. I will not fall victim to nostalgia. And then if you're frugal, it can also be really hard to pass up what seems like tempting deals on stuff. But the thing is, if you weren't going to the thrift store to buy that thing in the first place, there's a high likelihood that you don't need that item in your home. So get used to identifying what you're looking for before you go, and that's going to cut down on impulse purchases that end up wasting you money and cluttering up your home. Tip number 5 is to thrift shop like a fisherman, and what I mean by that is getting used to the idea of catch and release. So catch and release is a conservation practice that was developed to prevent overharvesting of fish and to preserve resources, and it really works well for thrift shopping too, because you don't want to waste your financial resources buying things you don't need, and you don't want to waste space in your home with a lot of clutter that you don't need. So it's okay to pick stuff up, take a look at it, and acknowledge that it's a cool or interesting or great catch, but be okay with throwing it back into the wild because you don't need it and maybe it could benefit someone else in the future more than you. Tip number 6 is to keep your eye out for end carts and hangers that are by the fitting room, because a lot of times people will go into the fitting room to try on good items and then maybe they don't fit exactly right, but they'll leave those good items right next to the fitting room. And when you find a cart at the end of an aisle, that usually means that it's fresh out of the back room and the employees are getting ready to put it on the shelf. So it's a golden opportunity to find awesome stuff. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe they have this here. Look, this is on the cart when I just turned the corner. I am almost positive that these are from the Container Store. Yes, these are the Container Store Marie Kondo containers. I've been looking at these forever. I cannot believe I found them here. Only $2.99. Oh, totally scooping these up. Tip number 7 is to cover your booty, and by booty, I mean pirate treasure booty and not badonkadonk booty, okay? So I don't think people who are new to thrift shopping realize just how ruthless and competitive thrift shopping can be. And I have definitely had items taken out of my cart that were lost forever because I walked away and I didn't take the time to cover them up. So now whenever I go thrift shopping, if I'm hunting for home essentials, I have my bag full of bags that I use to carry things and wrap it up if I have breakable items. And I'll take my large canvas bags like this, and I will use that to cover the things in my cart so that people don't see what I have and feel tempted to snatch it out of there. And if you don't have canvas bags like this, you can also just go to the clothing aisle and grab some larger shirts or dresses or something and use that to kind of hook over the front and drape over whatever inside your cart so that other people can't peep what's inside. And maybe you think I'm exaggerating, but this literally almost happened to me when I was filming my find of the KonMari Container Store paper trays, because I set them down again onto the cart so that I could pick up my phone and start filming it. And out of my peripheral vision, I see a guy coming up behind me making a beeline straight for the cart, and I just know he's going for those containers. So I had to snatch them back up again and put them in the cart and cover them. And I kind of fiddled around there until he went away, because I was not giving up those babies. So really, take the time to cover up the stuff in your cart if you really want to leave the store with it. Tip number 8 is to try to find the balance between things that are pretty and things that are practical for your home. I've had quite a few friends who have purchased things from the thrift store because they found them unique or pretty, but then when they got them home, they were disappointed to find that they didn't really function so well in their home. And using kitchenware as an example, I would personally never want to buy items like plates or cups that I couldn't put in the microwave or I couldn't wash in the dishwasher and that had to be hand washed. So I need to keep that in mind when I'm thrift shopping and be okay with not bringing things home that don't fit those criteria. But price and practicality aren't the only considerations. I also wanted to find enough mugs or plates that I didn't have to mix and match different styles and I could have the same for a really cohesive look. And I am looking for items that I find aesthetically pleasing and that I felt I would be happy looking at on a day-to-day basis for a long time. So that brings me to the next point, which is that if something isn't a 100% yes, then it's a no. So I found these Noritake stoneware mugs that were tagged green, which meant that they were 50% off, so 49 cents each. And I saw that they were not only safe for the microwave and the dishwasher, but also oven safe, which really attracted me to them. And unlike a lot of the other mugs that I saw, there was also enough quantity that it had the right amount that I was looking for, but I was hesitant because I wasn't quite sure about the color. So I decided to call my husband in, and he also wasn't a huge fan of the color, so I decided to do a catch and release with these mugs. Husband says he does not like the color, so we are going to put these back. Another great minimalist hack for shopping intentionally at the thrift store is future mapping. And with future mapping, what you do is you basically look at an item that you're thinking about buying and you imagine in detail what it would look like after you purchase that item and you bring it home. Where would you put it in your home? How often would you use it? And ask yourself detailed questions like this to help you guide whether or not you should purchase that item. A lot of times I'll find that I'm drawn to something, but then when I start future mapping my purchase out, I realize that I don't really want or need that thing, and I end up putting it back. Sometimes you find things that are just so cute, like this is so cute, but what would I use it for? And then you have to give yourself a reality check and say, this is cute, but it's probably not something that's going to get used in my home. And so it's not something that I want to buy. The next tip I have for you is to avoid the dreaded clutter relapse. And what I mean by this is avoid repurchasing things that you've already owned and decluttered once. And I find that a lot of times these items tend to be things that are very emotionally charged, or you have a strong fantasy self connection to. So for example, there's been many times where I've purchased white pants only to not wear the white pants and declutter them. And then I'm always so tempted to buy them again when I see other people wearing cute white pants. Or for example, while I was at the thrift store, I found some copper Jello molds that instantly took me back to my childhood because my mother had a huge collection of copper Jello molds in the past. And that is something that I had held on to for a long time. I would go out and impulse buy them whenever I saw them, but never used them. And I had already decluttered those copper Jello mold purchases once before. So why would I go and buy them again? Just be aware that this is a very common trap that people can fall into, and try to avoid it as much as possible. The next tip on this list is not to be afraid to roll up your sleeves and dig down deep. And I think that as minimalists, especially if you're used to order and very clutter-free environments, a thrift store can be pretty overwhelming because it gets pretty messy and things are in a jumble, nothing is where it should be, and sometimes it can be tough to sort through the mess and find what you want. But don't be afraid to kind of dig through, because sometimes the good stuff is hiding towards the bottom or a few aisles down. So I really need a 9x13 glass casserole dish, but a lot of these are too big, And then the one that is in the size that I want is got like baked on oil, and I don't know how easy it would be to clean. This one is in really nice condition, but it's maybe just a bit too large. I'm contemplating buying a butter dish because we've been eating a lot of butter sticks lately. I don't think I'm going to get this size, so I'm going to put this one back. So I was doing a ton of research on how to clean with glass Pyrex, but after all of that, then I went an aisle down and I found one that is in almost perfect condition, although it's not a green tag, so it's not on sale for 50% off. I'm still going to choose that one just because I'm more confident that I'll be able to keep it clean, you know, have it clean and have it good quality. So I'm going to put this one back. The 13th tip is to make sure you're not overpaying, and I think it's easy to assume when you go to a secondhand store or a thrift store or a charity shop that you're going to be getting the lowest price possible, but that is not always the case. And I remember one time when I was looking for toys for my kids, I found a badminton set that had the Goodwill tag on it, and it was actually priced higher than the regular retail price because the sticker was still on the badminton set. So it's a good idea for you to have your phone on you so that you can run a search for the item that you're thinking about buying to make sure that you're not paying more than the regular retail price. I found a set of crate and barrel plates that I like, and there's 12, which is how much I was wanting. But then I noticed that some of them have discolorations on them, and then when I flip it over and I look at the back, they're $3.99 a piece, and that's almost the same price as what they would be brand new in store. So we are not going to be getting these today. No, thank you. So we are now at a different thrift store, and we're going to go inside and see if we can find some more things that we can use to supplement the finds that we already have. I have my list, so let's go. If you're ever shopping for furniture secondhand, make sure that you bring measuring tape with you, and also that you measure the spaces that you're thinking about putting the furniture into before you head to the thrift store or the charity shop or the flea market or wherever you're going. Because there's nothing worse than buying a furniture piece, paying for it, getting it home, only to realize that it doesn't fit inside the space that you wanted it to fit, and you have a Ross Geller moment on your hands. Tip number 15 is to buy upholstered items with caution, because sometimes in an effort to save money, you end up wasting money instead. I personally never buy upholstered things from thrift stores because I have heard horror stories from friends in the past who have purchased them and then gotten bed bugs and had to fumigate their home, and it was a real expensive mess. But I mean, if you are a DIY handy and you're confident in your ability to, clean and take care of stuff like that, you can find stuff for a really great price. Like this is only $169. On the other hand, non-upholstered items are no problem to purchase secondhand because they're hard surfaces that you can easily clean and wipe down once you get them home. Thrift stores can also make you a better shopper and guide your future purchases. Just look around and you'll see how many of the trendy or fashionable items from last season or the year before are now out of style, or maybe you start to notice more and more of them popping up and accumulating on the shelves of your local thrift store, which might indicate low quality of hyped up or trendy items. Oh my gosh, I have been seeing these old place pans advertised all over, and it doesn't look like it's holding up very well, huh? I see a lot of wear and tear in this thing. I have heard that they don't last like they say they do, so I guess this is my sign not to buy one of these pans. Minimalist thrift shopping tip number 17 is to be honest about your current DIY skills and bandwidth. And this is a trap I've totally fallen into myself in the past, and that's I see cool furniture pieces or other items, and I see that they need a little bit of fixing, and I bring them home with the intention of turning it into a project that I'm going to fix them up and make them nice for using in my home, only to have them sitting around in my garage or lower level or wherever it is, taking up space for months or even years at a time without me ever getting around to completing that project. I think this table is on its last leg. It's so shaky. If you're a skilled DIYer and you love taking on projects like this, by all means go for it. But I know right now that I don't have the time to put into for projects like this, so I'm looking for things that require minimal effort on my part. And finally, the last secret I have to share with you is to embrace the process and the art of slowing down. One thing I think a lot of people don't realize about decluttering and minimalism and simple living is just how long the process takes and how much intention and mindfulness it takes to actually get things to where you want it to be. Like, you can watch people declutter their entire home and their entire lives in a 15-second Instagram reel or a 20-minute YouTube video, and you get their entire journey condensed into one small, neat little package. And it just doesn't really give a good representation of what the entire process feels like, I think. So that's why I kind of wanted to make this series Minimalism for Real and just show you what it looks like on a daily basis to go about life as a minimalist and be okay with things being imperfect and be in the process of figuring things out. Now we get to go show my husband what I found. I hope he's excited. And even if he's not excited about the things that I bought, because let's face it, they're not super exciting, hopefully he's excited about the money that I'm saving us. I hope you enjoyed this very first Minimalism for Real episode, and make sure to comment down below and let me know if there are any topics that you'd like to see me explore as part of this series. Or if you're interested in seeing an empty house tour, comment below with the word house or drop me a house emoji so that I know that that's something that you would like to see. And if you're interested in watching other videos about minimalism, decluttering, or simplifying your life, make sure to go check out this video, or I'll see you next week. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.